Witness is set to take the stand when the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry resumes this morning. Their identity will only be revealed closer to the time due to the ongoing safety concerns. Ziyanda Ngcobo is live for us from the Brigitte Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria. Ziyanda, good morning. As I've just shared with the viewers, it's the latest practice really by the Commission in order to protect witnesses not to reveal. I'm not sure if you've managed to get some insight as to who might be testifying today, but also really interesting that on the back of Senona's testimony last week, Lesetja Senona, the head of the Hawks in KwaZulu-Natal, there already seems to be some movement. Good morning.
Good morning, Iman. It's as if you are right here with me and Prof. Dumsani Mabunda, because that's exactly what we were talking about before going on air, just how it's getting slightly difficult insofar as these morning broadcasts, because we're just not sure who is going to take the stand, what their testimony is going to be about. But of course, we do know what Lesetja Senona told the Commission last week. A very good morning to you, Prof. Mabunda. As we reflect on this aspect, I suppose there is a safety consideration that the Commission needs to make. But what's to be said about, just how much, unlike in the beginning, it's not as transparent? And maybe this is also in light of what's happened to Witness D and perhaps the veracity and the alarming testimony from someone like Witness E.
Yeah, a good question. Good morning to the viewers. I think of late we're finding a little bit difficult to navigate through this process because of what you've just mentioned. Witnesses are scared to come and testify physically. And it also makes it difficult for the Commission to make arrangements for these people to testify remotely on camera. So even today, we are not so sure who's supposed to come and testify. And I think going forward, we'll just have to live through trial and error, because the process is getting a little bit difficult now to follow. But we are here to see what will transpire today.
Yeah, I mean, because phase 2 was always inevitably going to be difficult with those who've been implicated, as we've seen with the KZN Hawks Head, with now even lawyers representing, Sergeant Fanny Nkosi on Friday. The issue around how much time people are given to prepare for their appearances was always going to be a challenge for this commission to manage.
Yeah, it's a very difficult process, and this will also contribute in the Commission asking for extension, because if a witness was supposed to testify today, the Commission obviously has to give that person the time to prepare, obviously for safety reasons. Yeah. And we know that there are witnesses that are reluctant to come to this Commission because of what you mentioned, the Witness D situation. We don't want to see that again. And we hope that wherever they are testifying from, they will not be exposed to the dangers going forward. So we are looking forward to the witnesses being confident to testify without fear or favor. We know what is happening with the witness protection program in South Africa. It's a difficult one.
I mean, saying on the theme of safety, we saw that statement rather coming from KZN Hawks Head Lesetja Senona's attorneys about how he still feels that his life is in danger, that he's been locked out of work, his possessions, his work possessions were taken from him by the KZN South African Police Service. They've since responded to say it was just almost a precautionary move, just on the basis of how things have been going. And not to speak to the merits of this particular case, but how much are we likely to see from people trying to feign victimhood in light of when their testimony gets very difficult, because this is a very difficult commission of inquiry?
This speaks to the danger that South Africans are faced with. If you hear a policeman saying that I'm afraid of criminals, how about me and you? So what do we need to find out from all these witnesses? We need to find the road that we hear that is taking place in the criminal justice system so that reform can start in earnest. Because as things stand, it appears that the criminal justice system is infiltrated by criminals, and we want to get rid of that. We want to start rebuilding. We want to start identifying credible people that will take strategic positions, because the safety of the country depends on who is holding a strategic position. And also we need, in this reform, to have clearly defined roles so that we don't have a situation where politicians claim that it was within their mandate to do certain things. This reform must be specific, what the National Commissioner is supposed to do, what the Minister is supposed to do, so that we don't see the recurrence of what we are going through right now.
And you know, you spoke about a possible extension. In fact, the Commission spokesperson, Jeremy Michaels, also intimated as such last Thursday when the presidency released that statement. How much goodwill do you think South Africans are going to be willing to give this commission if it does get to a point where it needs to be extended? Because we know that this also comes at a cost.
The extension will be good. We want a comprehensive report at the end of this process. If you look at the previous commission, like the Zondo Commission, the amount that is given to this commission is far less than that one. But unfortunately, the recommendations there are still yet to be implemented. We would like to see the extension of this process until every witness has been given an opportunity to come and speak out. Because if we leave something out because of budgetary constraints, then the report will not be complete. Coming back to the report, you know, it would have been much easier if the interim report that was supposed to be released by the President, as given to him on the 17th of December last year, it would have at least indicated the direction that we are heading. But at this stage, there are certain things that appears to be classified information. We are hoping that the
like
final
which aspects, perhaps, because I mean, they would probably argue that 14 names that are have been put forward by the Commission for further recommendation and the task team to look into those particular officials. That is some level of movement and action, as opposed to waiting until the final report is concluded.
It's a good question, Ziyanda. It would be much better if society knew what is contained in that report. I don't think there are classified information in that report. Perhaps there are individuals that is not good for the President to mention in that report. That is another process, like the issue of the minister, for example. He is not going to form part of the task team that has been established. And also the question of that task team. We're seeing police that are going to investigate other police officers. So for me, it's a gray area, because we're having this process and the ad hoc committee, and then we have another structure now that has to report to the same minister, the police commissioner, who was also a witness in this process. So we will just have to wait and see what that task team will do.
In fact, the point that you raise has also been raised by political parties such as Rise Mzansi, insofar as the constitution of this task team, that no one who is in the police who's appeared either before the ad hoc committee or the Madlanga Commission should form a part of it, and they've even gone as far as suggesting that also the NPA needs to set up some sort of a special body to process whatever comes out from this particular task team. But I suppose the other argument then becomes, who then would be the appropriate person to report to, if not the National Police Commissioner himself?
Yeah, and things are getting more complex right now. To have a lot of structures dealing with the same issue, it is going to confuse a lot of people. But let's remain positive that all these structures will ensure that people have to account, will be held accountable. Those who are innocent will be exonerated. We want this process to be as comprehensive as possible. So I think the President is within his right to have this report and establish other structures. But the problem is, the more it delays, we're dealing with serious crime in this country. For example, the issue of the acting minister and the suspended minister. from the experience that we're having, when a person is acting, he don't have a full right to make strategies, to come up with strategies to deal with crime, for example. So it means that South Africans will grapple with crime. You'll see with the next crime statistics, they are always rising, because there are certain things that a person who is permanent in that position will come with strategies to deal with crime in this country. So that's a concern, but we'll have to wait for the processes to conclude, so that the report is as comprehensive as possible.
Prof. Ziyanda Mabandla from UNISA, thank you very much for your time this morning. Iman, so this is where we leave things for now, but I'm going to go and try and see if I can't squeeze some of that information out of the right people to figure out maybe who will be taking the stand, if of course it doesn't pose a security risk. But you would have heard even just from the testimony on a Friday, where we were able to piece together who the witness is that was being spoken about, who's going to be here tomorrow. You know, there's a lot of safety concerns around those who come to appear before this Commission of Inquiry and the kind of information that they want to bring.
And in the interest of that safety, you know, then it warrants waiting until the 9:30 hour to see which direction this inquiry is going to go in today. So far, just startling testimony Ziyanda and I have been witnessing